So here we have the sample assessment provided to us by the AAT, not their practice assessments. This is a separate one that you'll find on their lifelong learning portal. And we've opened the data file to find that the instructions are included with the data. So you see I have a sheet with the instructions. If I scroll down, there's all the instructions, and then I've got the other sheets there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move, you can't unfortunately view two worksheets from the same workbook on screen at the same time. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the assessment tasks into a new book. In fact, I'll copy them, it doesn't hurt, and I'm just going to move them to a new book. Okay, so they're in a book all on their own now, and let's see if I can just rearrange this. So yeah, so what I can do, so you can see the original workbook in the background here. So with this book here, I'm going to put my finger on the Windows key and click my left arrow, and then I'm going to click on the other one on the right. There we go, there's my data, there's my book with my instructions on the left side of the screen, and my spreadsheet on the right hand side of the screen. Now I'm lucky that I've got a reasonably wide screen here. If you found that you don't have a wide screen and you're struggling with width, you could always do a top and bottom. So if I click on this one on the left, the window on the left, and do Windows up arrow, and then what I can do is this one, I'm just going to do Windows down arrow, and then just have a little bit of a fiddle around and just adjust to make sure that I'm sort of hiding my background like so. There you go. So now I can scroll through my my tasks at the top, and then at the bottom I've got my spreadsheet as well, and I could even, if I wanted to, just sort of fill it around a little bit just to give a bit more space, top and bottom, so I can see what I'm doing. So basically that's what I'm doing, and it very much depends on the screen that you find yourself with when you go into the examination room. But I'm actually going to return to the side by side. Okay, my first instructions, I've read the scenario information here, and the first instructions is that I must save the spreadsheet with my initials, AAT, number, date, month, task 2.1. So let's just quickly do that. What does it say? So my initials, my AAT number, and day 16/01/2021 hyphen task 2.1. There we go. I think I've got that. Don't think I've got them. Hopefully that's right. Okay, open the worksheet original budget. In cell D1, use a formula to calculate the percentage by which to flex the original budget in light of the annual activity in the quarter ended 31st of March. Okay, so the original volume, I'm getting this information from here, was 5,000. That was the intended, or shall we say the budgeted volume. The actual volume of units was 6,006. So the percentage difference is going to be, so we need to do a formula. So we can do one of two things. We can either do, let's do 6,000 divided by 5,000. And if we convert that to a percentage, there we go, 120%. So that would be a figure I could flex by. An alternative, do that again, is to find the difference. So it's going to be equals the actual volume minus the budgeted volume. Obviously that's going to be 1,000, and then I'll do the same again. So it's going to be, so in this time I'm only doing a percentage, can you see what, and then I'm going to divide that by the actual volume. Nope, the original volume. There we go. Again, if I make it a percent, so you can either go for 120% or 20%. Either way, actually this one is probably going to be the easier one to use in here. If you use this one, you're going to have to use a slightly different formula, a slightly more complicated formula up here in your flexed budget. So let's go back. So in cell D1, use a formula to create a percentage. Right, well I've put it in the wrong place then, haven't I? So all I'm going to do in cell D1, let me just well, you know, let's make them, so I'm going to go equals 6,000 divided by 5,000 multiplied by 100. There we go. Now I've put the multiplied by 100 because I haven't made it into a percentage, but if I format as a percentage, then that's going to work. Do you know, I'm going to leave that there. But I might delete this later. So format D1 as percentage to 2 decimal places, done. And in column D, to create a flex budget, insert formula to flex the revenue where necessary using absolute reference to the percentage in cell D1. Okay, so let's just make sure before I just fly into this, I'm actually taking a look at what all of this information is telling me. So this is revenue up here. Okay, this is materials and variable overheads. Now they all need to be flexed according to this figure here, but I need to be careful because these last two values are fixed, so they don't get flexed, they won't vary at all. So let's get going. So it's going to be equals the original budget multiplied by the percentage increase, and I'm going to make that absolute by hitting my F4 key, and there's my answers. Oops, no, not so far. So I'm not going to do those fixed ones. With these ones, all I'm going to do is just say it equals that, because they're not going to change. Okay, so over here, now in column E, update the actual results for the quarter. Use copy and paste values, do not paste link, to copy the revenue and costs from the actual results worksheet into the correct position. So let's take a look at the actual results worksheet. Here they are. I hope they line up, but do you know what, just to be on the safe side, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the lot, and if I just move that out of the way, I'm just going to paste them here just to make sure. So what have we got? Oh no, that's too high. Move them down a bit. Okay, so we've got revenue, 3 materials, direct labour, 2 supervision, quality control, production planning, and then selling. Yep, good. Okay, that's fine. They're the same. So all I need to do now is just, why won't it let me scroll across? Come along. There we go. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick those up there. They're the values. I haven't done a paste link, and just move them over there, and then just get rid of that. I just wanted, you know, sometimes they can just trip you up and change the order of things. I just wanted to be sure that wasn't the case. So that's fine. I've got my actual results in here, and copy the revenue. That's all I needed to do. So carrying on, B, in the original budget worksheet, calculate the operating profit figures from the original budget, flexed budget, and actual results. So here's my operating profit down here. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. We don't need it. So my operating profit, now bear in mind these are my revenue, that's my revenue figures up there. I'm just for the sake of clarity going to change them to yellow, but I'll take that off before I'm finished. So my profit, therefore, if that's what I sold, or rather, who are we? What's my name in this? Sam Jones. Work for BLM. Okay, so BLM, this is what BLM have got in, well, budgeted. They budgeted to make this much. They when you flex it, you get this, and that's what they actually made. So the profit is going to be equals the revenue minus the sum of the costs. There we go. And now let's just fill those values forward, or across rather. Now before I go on any further, I've just spotted an error. I accidentally, do you know, just occasionally it's worth just revealing your formula. So go to formula and show formula, because just sometimes it's quite handy. Look, I got carried away. See here, I can see that I've inadvertently done a variable overhead as a fixed overhead, and when you look at it in formula view, it kind of jumps out at you. So I just need to bring that formula down one, and think I've got it right now. Yeah, okay, I'm happier with that. Put it to the side. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so the next thing I need to do is to work out whether the variances are favourable or adverse. So just go over to my sheet. Now I'll make that large while I do the task. So now I just need to be a little bit careful, because an adverse revenue, it will be the opposite to an adverse cost. So where you've made less money than you should have, that would be adverse. Obviously, with costs, if you've paid less money than you should have, then it'll be favourable. Now I'm just double checking, so they don't want me to write adverse or favourable, they simply want me to show adverse variance as negative figures and favourable as positive figures. That's fine, that's easy to do. So in the case of the revenue, to find out the variance, I'm going to say it's equals the actual minus the budget. As you can see there, 15,000 more, which is good. And now I'm going to do the reverse. So for the cost, it's going to be the budget minus the actual. Now let's fill that down. Okay, and we've got two, how many? 2 or 3 negatives down the bottom. Just the 2. And then finally, I'm going to also bring that down just to see what the total row brings up as well. Now let's just be a little bit careful that I've got that the right way round, bearing in mind this is profit we're talking about. So at the moment it's indicating that I've made more profit than I budgeted for. It's coming out as adverse, so obviously that's incorrect, so I'm going to just change that around. I'm going to say actual minus flexed. That's correct, so that's my favourable. Okay, so in the original budget worksheet, insert an if statement in cell F18 that will show agreed if the figures for the operating profit variance is the same as the difference between the column totals for the flexed budget and actual results, and check if they do not. Now we know that's the case because that's the way that we've written this formula, but what I'm thinking is if they want us to check, basically they want us to crosscast. So crosscasting is when you do the maths between the answers to see if the sum's going upwards. So therefore from that I'm guessing they actually wanted me to do sum of the total above, and then do the cross-casting to see if that indeed works. So it says insert an if statement into cell F18. So let's find F18. If you're not sure, you can always just type F18. It'll take you exactly to the right place. So it goes equals if this value here equals E16. Well, let's just so it was E16 minus D16, then put balanced. I think that's no, sorry, agreed. Otherwise put the word check. Good, agreed. And then it says freeze the worksheet so that the range A1 to B16 always remain visible during scrolling. Ooh, okay, so A1, can't see my A at the moment, A1 to B16. Okay, that's there. So that means in order to keep those on screen, I always have to go one across and one down. And then view, freeze panes. So let's just check that. So, yep, I'm scrolling down and I'm scrolling across. I don't know why that doesn't work. Yep, okay. So it's coming along nicely. I'm now up to task D. Let's just scroll down. So let's get that out of my face. That's just annoying me now. No, right, okay. Brian and Lakmani have been told by their bank that their target profit for the next quarter must be 95,000, and Brian wants to know by how much the cost of direct materials 3 needs to be reduced by in order to meet this target profit. So I'm guessing we're going to need goal seek for this. So to be able to answer Brian's question, use the goal seek function. I won't read it all out. And what they're asking us to do is take a screen print of the evidence of this. So copy all the data in the original budget worksheet and paste not paste link into a goal seek worksheet starting in cell A1. So I'm going to just click on that button to the top left of 1 and A, and then choose the copy, and then I'm going to into the goal seek worksheet. Right, here we go, and then I can just click paste and it's all come across. And in the goal seek worksheet, use goal seek to investigate what change in direct materials 3. So let's highlight a few useful, let's get rid of that highlighting. I must remember to do that on the original one as well. So we are looking at what cost savings we need to make in actual direct materials 3. There we go. So we need to make the operating profit, that's also involved. We need to make that 95,000, and we're going to use goal seek to do that. So if we go to data, so under what if, we're going to use goal seek. So what we want to do is we want to set the value in the operating profit cell to, what was it, 95,000 by changing the actual direct materials cost. So let's click OK and see if that works first of all. There we go, that's what it needs to be to get that actual profit. Let me cancel that. Now we know it works. Let's just do it again. So set cell E16 to 95,000 by changing that. Now I'm now going to do a screen print. You can either just press the screen print button, but I'm going to use a useful little tool called Snip, which is always in Windows if you need it, and it just allows me to just click and drag around the area I want to capture, and then it puts that on the clipboard, and then I need to get rid of that. So what I need to do now is go to the screen print. Let's just cancel that, go to screen print and paste. There we go, and that's now an image of what I was doing on this particular previous sheet. So that appears to be the end. At the end of this task you should have one spreadsheet, in other words one workbook only, and this is the workbook that we're going to upload to the assessment environment. And I've just remembered I'd left that highlighting on, so I'm just going to take that off and save my work, and I'm happy with that. That's what I'm going to upload. So I'm now on to task 2.2. I've already gone through the process of downloading the workbook, and then I have moved the assessment tasks into a new workbook so I can put them side by side on my screen as before. What I haven't done is saved my copy according to the instructions of what did they want me to call it? I'm sure. So here we go. Same again. Name, and then the date, and there we have it. Oh no, oops, task 2.2. Okay, right, let's make that just a touch bigger. And again we are Sam, still working for BLM and still making syncs. Company still owned by the same people, and we've suffered let's pretend we're Sam. We've suffered a computer crash and we've been asked to complete the half-year sales spreadsheet for 6 months ended December 2007, which was extracted immediately before the crash. And we've got this information in invoices, price list, screen print here. So we've got invoices, we have price list, we have as our price list. Obviously we're going to need to put some kind of screen print here, and then whatever BLM one. Oh, okay, so we need to do partnership accounts at some point. Fine. So let's just start with task A. So we need to use the lookup function to bring through the price from the price list here to populate the net sales, where our net sales is going to be our quantity sold multiplied by the value we get from the price list. And then we're going to use absolute referencing to calculate the gross value of each invoice when we add on 20%. So let's just do that. So let's start in net sales. So it's going to be the quantity multiplied by the, well, I'm going to type the word price, but actually what I'm really going to do is use a lookup. So it's quantity multiplied by, because I haven't got the price yet. So let's start. In fact, I'm going to just take that out for now. I just have to remember to put that in. So for now, let me just do a lookup to pull through the unit price. So VLOOKUP. So my lookup value is going to be the item number. My table array is going to be the table on the price list. So I'm going to get that from the price list there. Now if we just I'm going to just stay there for a second. The price is in 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth column here. So for column number, I just want the number 4. And then finally, I finish with the word false. Okay, so remember that's the unit price. Let's just double check this. So 35698, 35698, £127. So that's worked. So now all I need to do is say multiplied by the quantity sold. And that's the net sales. Oops, a daisy now. Why has that gone wrong? I know why it's gone wrong. So obviously it's worked for the first few, but if I double click on that, I'm thinking that my table array has gone a bit skew-if because I forgot to make it absolute. Let me just go back into that into my function builder, and I should have used my F4 key to make that table array absolute. I forgot to do that. I've corrected that now, and I'm just double clicking to fill down because there's no gaps in my data. I can do that. It stops at the first gap it finds. There we go, that's worked. So end up arrow just to take me back to the top. So I just I'm going to multiply this value by the 20%. Now be careful, if you just do the net sales by 20%, let me just do that again. So net sales multiplied by 20%, with that definitely going to be absolute that. Then all I'm going to get is 20% of the net sales. So what I've effectively done is worked out the VAT. Actually what I need to do is do the net sales plus the net sales times 20%. So let me just adapt that. So it's going to be H7 plus, and then I'll just put that next bit in brackets to make sure that it works properly. There we go, 701040. So I think what I'm going to do is just pick up my calculator, just tap that in. Yep, okay, I've double checked and I have got the right answer, and it never hurts to fall back on your calculator if you want to be absolutely certain. And then what I can do is double click to fill that down. So I think we've done that. So now we need to remove the duplicates, and it says, but when we do that, before you click the OK button, use the screen print function, and then click OK, and then we need to paste it in. Let's do that then. So data, remove let me select that, remove duplicates. I'm just going to leave everything ticked, and no, I am not going to click OK. It said before you click OK, so stop. I'm going to use the print screen button to capture the whole window this time, and over to my oh no, and then I have to click OK, so it does it, and then I go to screen print, and then I paste it in. So that's what they're looking to see here. They're looking to see the dialog box before you click OK. And now I can go back to my invoices. Brian and Lakmani would like to know the average value of their invoices for the year, and I need to put that in cell J3 across the gross values, and I need to format all the numerical data in the net and gross columns to accounting style to 2 decimal places. So let's do that one. So this one up here, did it say J3? I think J3 was it? Let me check. In cell J3, yes. I know what I did. Was I supposed to type? Oh, then return to the invoices worksheet, and if there were any duplicates, type the number in J2. I missed that step out. So I had, if I remember rightly, I had 2 duplicates. So here I'm going to go equals average, open brackets, and then it's the average of all the gross sales. There we go, there's my average. Hopefully that's correct. And then shift end down arrow, and then I'm just going to format these as accounting style, which is different to currency, be aware of that. There it is, to 2 decimal places. Good. So moving on to task C, it says from the invoices worksheet, produce a pivot chart and pivot table in a new worksheet showing the number of diamond type sinks sold in each of the 6 months from July to December. So ensure the pivot table is sorted in chronological order. I'll come back to the chart in a moment then. So let's get the pivot table up and running. So I'll just plonk my cursor anywhere in my data table and then choose Insert Pivot Table, and I'm going to put it on a new worksheet. There we go. Now, what was it that we wanted? We wanted the months, didn't we? So let's do the when as my rows. July, August, September, October, November. Good, they're in chronological order. And it was the type of sink was the diamond sink. So let me put type as my major filter, and then I can't remember what the next bit was. Showing the number of diamond type sinks sold in the 6 months. So we're going to want a count function. No, I can see I've got quantity sold. That'll do. So if I put the sum of the quantity sold here, so this must be all the sinks, and if I just change that to diamond, now I'm seeing only the total by month of diamond sinks sold. Moving on to the chart now. It says format the chart, well I haven't even started it yet, but to show the highest sales for the period in black and the lowest in red. So let's make that chart. So make sure you're sitting in your pivot chart, and then under the Analyze button, let's click Pivot Chart. So sit in your pivot table. I will just go for a standard column chart. There we go. And we're told we want to make the lowest value in red and the highest in black. So what I'm going to do, one click on August is clearly the lowest, so one click, second click is now going to allow me to fill in red, and then September, one click, second click, right mouse click, oh no I don't need to right mouse click, and now that's in black. Lovely. Let's call it it's a nice chart title there. Anything else we need to do? I don't think so. Oh, name the worksheet Diamond Sinks Sold. Let's do that now. Great, that's C done and dusted. So next we are looking at doing some profit appropriation here. We're preparing the final accounts, and we have been given the following information about the partnership agreement, and we need to draw up an appropriation account. Let's take a look if we've got the so on BLM 1 is the worksheet that we need to do this. So complete the partnership appropriation statement and current accounts in the BLM 1 worksheet to share the profit for the year between the two partners in accordance with the partnership agreement. Okay, so let's just, do you know what I might do is I might just copy this information to here, so I don't have to keep going back and forth. This is another way of keeping the tasks on screen, as long as you remember to take them off afterwards. So profit for the year is 250,000, and then the salary that Brian took was no, I don't think Brian has a salary. Lakmani has a salary there, here, of 25,000 a year. And Brian's got commission of 8586, so let's get that commission. And Brian has no commission for Lakmani, I don't think, unless I've missed it. Oh, there's an and there. Oh, better be careful there. There's obviously a bit more going on, isn't it? Hang on. Just make sure I'm wrapping the text so I'm seeing. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. So Lakmani got 250,000. Brian got 8586. Ah, here we go. Lakmani got in commission of 8,500. And interest on drawings, do we have any? So Brian's got commission. Brian has taken drawings of 91,200 over the year, and interest on drawings for Brian has been calculated at 300 and 180 for Lakmani. So 300 and 180 for Lakmani. I didn't make that go red, it did it itself, by the way. Salary we've done, and there we go. Okay, I think that's all we need for our appropriation. So let's see if we can work out here. Let's do the totals. So equals this plus that. So that's our total. Let's just bring that down. Now we're going to do, and we need to be a little bit careful here, so I'm just going to finish this off. So equals, it's going to be the 250,000 profit that we made, less the salary, less the commission, but plus the interest on drawings, because essentially the partners owe that back. So let's just do, sorry, whoops daisies, let's try that again. So I'm going to say it's equals that plus the salary minus the, I don't like how that's sitting there as a positive. What I'm going to do is I think I'm going to convert, go back, I'm going to convert that value to a negative, just otherwise it's going to be a bit confusing. Let's just do this and see what happens. So I'm going to say that this one is going to be 0 minus, to give me the, oh no, this isn't working at all. Okay, that's what I wanted. I wanted a negative 480, so that here I can just go the sum of the above, so the profit minus the values below 20893. Yeah, I think that's better. That's the right answer. So let's now work out the profit share. So it was on a 3-2, I think. Yep, 3-2. 3 to Brian, 2 to Lakmani. So it's going to be equals this value here divided by 5 multiplied by 3. Now let's do that again. Equals the residual profit divided by 5 multiplied by 2 in the case of Lakmani. And then let's just do a little total again. Okay, it's the same figure, it's exactly what we would expect. And then what we're going to do is just total up everything here. So let's sum above. Oops, too far. There we go. Right. No, No, that's not going to work because that's going to make these, remember these are negatives essentially. So what I'd rather do here is equals this value plus the profit share minus the interest on drawings, and I'm going to add a plus any salary in there. I know there isn't anything in there for that one, but when I fill across it should work for here. And then this value here is just equals that plus Lakmani's total earnings. And if I've done it right, then that value there should equal that value there, which it does. So that was good. That just leaves me to fill in the current accounts, and this is a slightly different layout to the one that you might be using, be used to, because normally we have the debits and the credits, but we haven't got that. We've got more of a running total format here. So we've got our, if we just imagine that this is our debit side and this is our credit side, so we've got our balances brought down already. And now what do we need to add in additionally? Well, first of all, we've got salary, so we know that Lakmani is entitled to a salary, so there we've got our 25,000 there. Brian doesn't draw a salary. Interest on drawings, that's going to be oh no, I've missed one. Drawings, right, we've had that information down below. Brian has taken 91,200. We go drawings, so Brian 91,200 and Lakmani 84,400. Okay, so obviously they're going on the credit side because they've been withdrawn, whereas everything on the on the debit side because they've been withdrawn. So everything on the credit side is what's owed to Brian and Lakmani, and everything on the debit side reduces what is owed to Lakmani and Brian. So interest on drawings, that's going to reduce what they are owed. So we've calculated those above. What did we say? 301. We were told those. 300 and 100. The commission, we've got that from above there. I'll just copy those figures down. Actually, let me just undo that. I'm going to just paste the values so I don't have to fiddle about with formatting. And the profit share as well. So here we go. We have our profit share, so I'm going to just copy those. Don't want to make a mistake retyping them. The values go in there. And then finally we need to work the balanced carried down. Tempting to pick up our calculators at this point just to do this, but we can't. We're going to have to use Excel, so let's have a think about what we're going to do. So it's going to be equals the sum of, I'm just working on Brian here, there, minus the sum of the values above. I would have to alter that if I thought that the balance carried down was going to be on the opposite side, but in this case I don't think it is, and I can just see if that works. Fill that across. Yep, Lakmani, fine. Yep, I think that's correct. And I just have to remember to put, it's just like any normal T account. Just have to remember to put my totals in. In fact, I'll go all the way across. It's messed up my formatting a little bit, but I think my figures are correct. Let's just put my right border in, just to make everything spot on. Oh dear, not done very well there, have I? Oh goodness me. I could faff around with this for ages, but you get the idea. If you've got time, change it, but if you don't have time, then I wouldn't bother worrying about things like borders. Okay, I think that's all we had to do. Let me just get rid of the instructions. Let's just double check. yeah, that's it. So at the end of this task, you should have one spreadsheet. I do have one spreadsheet. That's all I needed to do. And I'm going to save that. I'm not sure whether I wanted that negative or not. I've just looked in the answers and they don't show that as a negative. So in fact, I'm going to just take that little bit away. And then all I'm going to do is just tweak my formula there. So they don't give short formulas in the answers. So you have to take an educated guess as to how the figures were arrived at. Good, yep, that's exactly what it looks like. Great, well that's the whole thing done then.